KMES English Medium Junior College welcome students for the online lecture of philosophy for Standard 12. Chapter 5 What to do and why. For the topic Non-Vedic Tradition and the Scientific Perspective. Students, in today's lecture of the fifth chapter, What to Do and Why, we are going to study two major topics, the non-Vedic tradition and the scientific perspective. The non-Vedic tradition consists of two things, that is Jaina ethics and Buddhist ethics. Whereas the scientific perspectives consist of the emergence of agriculture, the theory of evaluation, and the study of human behavior. Non-Vedic tradition. The heterodox non-Vedic tradition like Buddhism and Jainism believe that the cycle of rebirth is boundless and that in their opinion, to liberate oneself from these boundaries, one should achieve the highest goal of life. Like Vedic tradition, these traditions, that is Buddhism and Jainism, consider knowledge and moral conduct as essential for attaining this goal. However, we have studied earlier their understanding regarding the nature of world and self is different from that of Vedic tradition. Jaina ethics. According to the metaphysics, Jiva and soul has the potential. They have the potentiality to attain fourfold perception. These fourfold perceptions are infinite knowledge, infinite faith, infinite power, and infinite bliss. But because of the limitation of the body, these potentialities are not realized. It is the passion and the desire of Jiva that get attract the material particles toward it, and Jiva get bounded with the body. That is why in order to get freedom from the body, it is not only important to eliminate the particles of matter that have already accumulated, but stopping the influx of new matter into the soul is also equally important. There are two processes of it that are nirvajara and samvara respectively. It is true that the soul is bound with the body. Basically, this boundage is created only because of desire, craving and motivation. This boundage is an internal boundage, while the boundage of the body is an external one. In order to be free from this boundage, one must keep faith in the teaching of the liberated being and gain knowledge of the world and of its own self. But as long as this knowledge does not reflect in the conduct of an individual, it may not lead to liberation. When a person controls his thoughts, desire, feeling, speech, behavior with moral conduct, the process of nirjara begins and the asrava gets stopped. In the Jaina tradition, right faith, right knowledge and right conduct are known as three ratnas, three jewels. Ethics is indeed related to right conduct. In this, there is Pancha Ratas, five great vows. They are at the center. These are Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya and Aprigraha. They are the five great vows. Aprigraha means not storing more than what is required, carrying only necessary thing with oneself. Ahimsa has a very important place in Jaina ethics. Any kind of harm to any being at any level of the body, speech or thought is unacceptable to Jainas. According to Jainas, every jiva, living being, has a right to attain liberation, and it is not moral to cause any kind of hindrance in its paths of liberation. These vows are necessary for those who are not on the path of renovation, and are householder, ordinary lay person, as well as for the ethics monks and nuns. The vow of the lay person are less straitened, so they are called as anuratas. In case of the monk and the nun, the rule related to these vows are rigorous, hence they are called as mahaoratas. By adhering to this vow and the other moral rules, the conduct, knowledge and faith become impeccable and perfect, and the fourfold perception is attained. Jiva is liberated from the cycle of rebirth. This is the belief of Jainas ethics. Buddhist ethics. One of the most important goals of Buddhist philosophy is cessation of the suffering in human life. That is, end of suffering in human life. The Four Noble Truths stated by the Gautam Buddha are related with the existence of suffering and its cessation. These noble truths are: 1. Life is full of suffering. 2. There is a cause of this suffering. 3. Cessation of suffering is possible. 4. There is a path which leads to cessation of suffering. This path consists of 8 steps and is therefore called as Eightfold Noble Path, Astangya Marga. The ethical thoughts of Buddhist philosophy are primarily woven in these eightfold paths. Hence, the emphasis is on the knowledge of the noble truth, efforts to live life by constantly remembering them, and the moral conduct. One of the aspects of this conduct is appropriate use of language or speech. One must abstain from lying, unkind words, and talking uselessly. One should earn one's own livelihood by honest means. It is not right to earn money through forbidden, wrong, unethics means. Our normal behavior should be according to Shila. The basic meaning of Shila is conduct behavior. Here the word Satya Shila is used, which means good moral conduct. Buddhist philosophy mentions the Pancha Sila, that is the 5 rule of right conduct: lying, stealing, killing or hurting, enjoying unrestricted bodily or sexual pleasure, and any type of intoxication are forbidden acts. One must not perform them. In order, one must observe Satya, Asatya, Asteya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya and Apramada. By doing so, the body and the sense are kept under control and the mind remains stable and calm. This discipline of the body and the mind is very essential for the attainment of nirvana. In Buddhism, the state in which the chain of rebirth completely ceases is called nirvana. Nirvana means cessation of all suffering and utmost peace. In this state, all the impressions, sankaras of the previous birth are destroyed, and hence the body body that is collected by 5 fleeting Pansandhya is not born again. Arya Astangya ka marg. They are right view, Samnakhya Drishti. Second, right resolve, that is Sammakhya Sankalpa. Right, third, right speech, that is Sammakhya Vakya. Fourth, right conduct, that is Sammakhya Karmanta. Fifth, right livelihood, that is Sammakhya Jivika. 6. Right effort, that is Samakya Vayama. 7. Right mindfulness, that is Samakya Smriti. 8. Right concentration, that is Samakya Samadhi. So these are the Arya Astinga Marga. Right view, correct knowledge of the Four Noble Truths. Right resolve indicate giving up unfeeling toward others, distancing from any harm to them, and renouncing worldliness. To Right speech consists of abstaining from lying, unkind words and useless talk. 4. Right conduct. Right conduct following Panchashila. 5th. Right livelihood. Choosing right means of livelihood, honesty, avoiding forbidden means of earning livelihood. 6. Right effort. Constantly making right effort, filling the mind with good and right talk, taking effort to keep it away from evil thought, conduct and feeling. 7. Right mindfulness. Constantly remembering the knowledge that is learned, never forgetting the impermanence and non-existence of the soul. 8. Right concentration. By way of living the life in the right way, as per the teaching, getting rid of carving, evil thought, etc. Experiencing the state of being free from suffering. These are the Buddhist ethics. The scientific perspective. So far we have been introduced to the deliberation made by the historical tradition of philosophy and how we behave and why. This introduction gives information regarding different theoretical perspectives that provide guidance regarding what is good and what is bad in a person's life. We must consider that these theoretical standpoints have a history of few thousand years. In the course of history, human life has kept changing, but the changes are gradual, and the primary problem that human has to face are of same nature. With the emergence of agriculture, class were created and man-woman relationship also changed. In accordance with agriculture, it was during this period that the religious framework started becoming rigid. Religions provide guidance regarding how to act in the prevalent situation. The industrial era began 2 centuries ago. Even at that time, things were not very difficult. Hunger, disease, war were a major problem that man has to face. He had no cure for old age and death. Nevertheless, today in the 21st century, the situation is changing rapidly. Even today, hunger, disease, war are the major problems, but their intensity has reduced compared to the last few centuries. Even today, an old age and death has remained mystery for us. But new technology does not look at them as something that is beyond human reach, but as a solvable problem. Through the theory of evaluation, it becomes possible to objectively understand how was life generated and how did it evolve. It was also understood that humans are a product of evaluation. It was also realized that what humans are today, that is not the only bodily structure, but also their behavior are influenced by the history of evaluation. Later, with the study of brain, it was known as the interconnection concerning human behavior are found in the structure of our nervous system and in the peculiar working pattern of the brain. After realizing the function pattern of the brain must be examined in order to understand why humans behave as they do, investigation began to accelerate in that direction. This was a significant change. It was viewed history We discover that so far, philosophy and religion have discussed moral issues concerning human action. However, now the study of human behavior itself was where become important. Through this study, some significant facts were noticed. For example, if you look at the structure of the brain, there are two parts. One part that has evolved initially is amygdala, and the other part that has evolved later is cortex. Amygdala is more influenced in the initial stage of the growth. It was found out that the function like thinking about the past and the future, comprehensive thinking are the function of the non-cortex, which grow gradually. The brain nerves cannot be regenerated, and in old age the function of the brain slow down. Such observation helps to understand why the person behaves in a particular way. But now the science can explain in an objective manner of human nature. At least the study seems to be originated towards it. Efforts are also underway to find objective answers to the traditional question like whether the inborn ability are more important or the upbringing. The answer to this question regarding how to behave and why can now be found in the light of law of evaluation. For solving the problem ranging from the choice of food to the choice of profession, religion, tradition, perspective were used so far. The alternative that is available now to solve this problem is that of considering the biological inheritance and the person's likes, dislikes, capabilities and limitations. Instead of using the religious and the traditional perspective, one can prefer to these recent alternatives. All this development also arise from the question. For example, recent research has shown that the emotion of pleasure, happiness is important for human beings for making a decision regarding action. This idea is not new to philosophy. It has also been challenged in the Buddhist philosophy. It has been said that the more we desire pleasure experience, the more stressed and dissatisfied we become. In order to find the true satisfaction, man should not run behind the pleasurable experience. Even if it is so, what we see is everyone is in the pursuit of instant and greater pleasure. The technology that is developing around us is as if created with this purpose. This has given rise to several questions.